Welcome to the channel, traveller. You're just in time for another Old World battle report. This time I'm facing Chaos Dwarfs again, but we've upped it to 2,000 points. We're playing a standard open war mission, and army lists are in the video description should you wish to peruse them. But this time, before we get into the battle, let's take a brief look at each army. I'm trying out a mortuary cult list for the first time. In order to field the army without a dragon, I had to include a couple of unpainted models, for which I apologize profusely. The army's headed up by a level 4 Necromancy Priest and 2 level 2s, one of whom has the BSB upgrade. A Tomb Prince leads 35 skeleton warriors, and the rest of core is filled out with 6 Bowshabti and 3 Necroserpents, which I'm proxying with Necropolis Knight models. At the back you can see my towering Necrolith Colossus next to a converted Casket of Souls. There's still work to be done on the casket, adding a priest model to it and whatnot, but it'll do for now. On to the utterly terrifying-looking Chaos Dwarfs. Their centerpiece models are a Hellbound Iron Demon with a steam Cannonade and a level 4 Sorcerer-Prophet on a Bale Taurus. They also have 18 Blunderbuss dwarves, 10 Fireglaive dwarves, 20 Hobgoblin archers, and 12 Ironsworn, who are basically mini Chaos warriors. Rounding out the army are these 2 3-man units of K'daii Fireborn. So, here's deployment. The dwarf ranged units are placed out in front, as they're quite short-ranged, and the K'daii, Ironsworn and Taurus are further back. It looks like my Necrosphinx will have to face down the Iron Demon. My Necroserpents and both Tomb Scorpions are ambushing. I get the first turn, and here's my movement. My main lines shamble forward slightly, but not too much, as I'm aware that I have the ranged advantage. The Sphinx soars forwards, but outside of charge range of the lumbering Iron Demon. In shooting, the Bowshabti take aim at the Iron Demon, but their bolts simply shatter against the might of its armoured bulk, doing nothing. Even worse, my Catapult misfires, taking a wound, and can't fire this turn or next. The implacable legion of the Uzkul Drath-Zar advances towards me. The ranged infantry is still too far away, but the Iron Demon is able to get within half range of my Sphinx. The Sorcerer-Prophet hangs back, ready to charge in next turn should the Sphinx survive to assault his minions. He's armed with the dragon-slaying sword, so is more than capable of cutting through the mighty construct with one savage strike. He gets a couple of Daemonology buff spells off, I think, but it's fairly inconsequential at this stage. In shooting, the Iron Demon rolls a staggering 18 shots for its steam Cannonade, and rolls hot, stripping 4 wounds from the Sphinx, leaving it with just 2 wounds remaining. My turn 2. I had hoped for the Sphinx to finish off a weakened Iron Demon, but as the Bowshabti failed to actually do anything to it last turn, and with imminent death looming, I decide the best thing to do with the Sphinx is to try and take out one of the units of K'daii Fireborn, so I charge him into them. The rest of my army looks on with bated breath. Or, well, not breath, I guess. To send my units forwards at this stage would only expose them to unnecessary fire from the dwarven infantry, and I want to try and do some damage with the casket and catapult before taking on those doughty warriors in combat. In shooting, the Bowshabti take aim at the Iron Demon again, but once again their arrows are rebuffed and ping off its impenetrable armour. The casket targets the Blunderbuss dwarfs with its Light of Death spell. They'd already been spirit-leeched by my level 4 priest, and the combo works, resulting in 4 dead dwarves. Finally, the Sphinx destroys all of the Fireborn and overruns into this position in front of the Taurus. With only 2 wounds apiece, the Fireborn are surprisingly fragile. In Chaos Dwarfs turn 2, the Taurus charges into the Sphinx. We just couldn't put them right next to each other due to the overhanging models. The rest of his army continues its slow journey towards my lines. There's not much to note, shooting or magic-wise. The Iron Demon attempts to gun down the Bowshabti, but it faces a plethora of minuses to hit, as it also misfires with one of its barrels, despite a Hellbound reroll, and they escape unscathed. Combat sees the vengeful Sorcerer-Prophet destroy the Sphinx, but he needed stomp attacks to finish the job, meaning the Sphinx got some attacks off as well, stripping 3 wounds from the Taurus before being cut down. Not a bad effort at all from the Sphinx, I feel. My turn 3. The level 4 summons the 3 Necroserpents from their hidden burrows beneath the ground, and they arrive in front of the Blunderbuss Dwarfs, forcing 9 initiative tests on the unit, which results in 6 of the dwarves being dragged to their deaths beneath the crumbling earth. The Tomb Scorpions are also summoned this turn by my other priests, with one appearing on the left flank and the other on the right, which destroys 2 Fireglaive dwarfs on its arrival too. The Colossus moves up slightly to its rear, ready to hopefully destroy anything that charges the Scorpion next turn. With the Taurus now exposed and in range, the Bowshabti abandon their futile attempt to damage the Iron Demon and switch targets to the Taurus. He boasts the armor of meteoric iron as well as a talisman of protection, but one of their arrows finds its mark, stripping 2 further wounds from him, leaving him with just 2 remaining. Shooting sees the Catapult scatter wide. The remaining unit of K'daii suffers a wound from some spell or other. Chaos Dwarfs turn 3. Sensing that he may not be long for this world, the Sorcerer-Prophet decides to shed blood while the sun shines, or at least scatter dust anyway, and charges the flank of the Necroserpents, with the Blunderbuss unit charging their front. The K'daii charge the Tomb Scorpion, and the Iron Demon trundles forwards. It then obliterates one of the Bowshabti with a hellish volley from its steam cannonade, but the nearby priest isn't concerned. In combat, the K'daii do 2 wounds to the Scorpion, but both are saved by either armor or regeneration, and it slays one of them in return. The dwarfs have better luck in the center, though, as the combined assault obliterates the Necroserpents entirely, and the Taurus overruns to this position here. In my turn 4, I resurrect the slain Bowshabti and manage to successfully cast Desiccation on the Taurus with my level 4, reducing it to toughness 5. The Bowshabti then wheel round a bit to better see the Taurus. The Colossus is pretty much stuck behind the Scorpion, so it backs up a bit in case it needs to maneuver round at a later point. In shooting, the Bowshabti destroy the Taurus with a ruthless volley, under the dispassionate gaze of the High Priest, and another Spirit Leech Casket combo claims the lives of 2 more Blunderbuss dwarfs. In combat, the K'daii bring the Scorpion down to just 1 wound remaining, but lose another model in return. We're both pretty astonished at how long this combat is dragging on for, to be honest. Chaos Dwarfs turn 4. The Iron Demon finally reaches its destination, crashing into the Bowshabti and splintering bone, metal and rock with the weight of its massive bulk. The Ironsworn, who are stuck behind the Blunderbuss Dwarfs, move up. Shooting sees a wound stripped from the Colossus due to a lucky shot from either the Hobgoblins or perhaps the Fireglaives. The combat over here results in 4 of the Bowshabti slain and the Iron Demon suffering no wounds. But on the other flank, the Tomb Scorpion finally triumphs, slaying the last K'daii with its deadly pincers and turning to face the Blunderbusses. In Tomb King's turn 5, the priests resurrect 2 of the slain Bowshabti, and a number of charges go off, with the Tomb Prince leading his skeletons into a frontal charge against the Blunderbusses, along with the Scorpion, the other Scorpion charging the flank of the Iron Demon, and the Colossus charging into the Fireglaives. When the dust settles, so to speak, just 2 Fireglaives are left alive, and the same is true of the Blunderbusses. Without the help of its impact hits, the Iron Demon doesn't do much, and even takes a couple of wounds from the Bowshabti, losing combat and getting pushed back. Unable to charge their scary Ironsworn in next turn due to the Blunderbusses still being in the way, and with no answer now to my central units or magic, the Chaos Dwarfs concede at this point. And there you have it. I very much enjoyed using the Mortuary Cult, mainly for the ability to take a unit of Bowshabti in core, and I enjoyed trying out different units, and not using a dragon. A larger unit of Necroserpents seems like it could be very deadly indeed, although I wouldn't deliberately subject any flavor of dwarf army to a unit larger than 3. In terms of the dwarfs, I think we were both surprised at the weakness of the K'daii. Only having 2 wounds each seems a bit harsh, and having no option to put a combat character on a Taurus, so being forced to combine their main mobile combat threat with their main caster is certainly a big problem for them. This game has only made me more eager to get my own dwarfs painted up though. I only curse the fact that Games Workshop never got around to releasing a K'daii Destroyer model back in the day, meaning it was left out of the legacy army list. Anyway, I think I've rambled quite enough for one report, so thanks to my opponent and thanks to you, Traveller, for staying a while to hear me recount the battle. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe on the YouTube thingy, and I'll see you in the next report.